Welcome to this edition of Cardinal Clips. We're here today at Prairie Lake School, and we're going to talk to author Pete Hautman. And I have two teachers here at Prairie Lakes, Heather Ridler and Sara Squibb. Sara, how did you feel about having Pete Hautman here today?
We were very excited to have him come. We have community speakers often, and so to get an author from the cities was great excitement for not only the students, but the staff had a good time as well.
Have you read many of his books?
Well, I really hadn't until he came here this time, but we were playing with the idea of having an author come. So we got a list of Minnesota authors and decided, since he was from the cities and he wrote books that we really felt pertained to the kids that we work with, so we ordered a bunch of his books, and the kids have loved them ever since.
And which of the two books that he talked about did you do?
I taught Godless, and then Heather taught Rash, and we did a lot of activities with him, and the kids had a list of questions for Pete and got to show him some of the activities that they did as well.
Heather, how did you enjoy your day with Pete?
I enjoyed it a lot. He actually spoke 3 times, and it was interesting to see how the same information came about in each speaking, even though he didn't use the same format. And the same questions kind of got answered, and the same information was brought about, and just depending on how the kids wanted to do it. It was very fun. I think they enjoyed it a lot.
And the book you worked with the kids on prior to his arrival was Rash?
Yes, I taught Rash, and we read Rash throughout the last month or month and a half. And so,
do you think that the kids made a connection with him?
I do think that they connected with him. He's an interesting person, and they can find their qualities, their personality in him somewhere. And of course, they pick out certain characters in the book that they relate to and like more than others.
And were those the ones that you wanted them to relate to?
Some of the students identify with characters that aren't the main character. They identify with Bork, the cybernetic artificial intelligence who's sort of silly, and they identify with Rhino, the 400-pound frazzy farting man in the cell, and they just really enjoy the different characters.
As you prepared for it, prepared to talk about Rash and worked with it with the kids, what was the biggest surprise you had?
I think the biggest surprise was that the things that I found humorous in the book, they didn't find as humorous. They found different humor in the book than I did. And maybe that's just an age difference, but I found that the most surprising, I think.
So at my age, would I find it funny at all?
I think you would.
Well, I had to ask that. Now, with Godless, they created their own religion. How did the kids handle that?
Well, the kids here really got into it and really liked it, because I think a lot of them have grown up with, going to church and never really thought about what that means to them. And so he presents it in such a way that it's so humorous that it's almost impossible to think that, kids would actually do this. But it really got them thinking about what they believe and why they believe it.
Can you tell us a little bit about what Godless is about?
Well, Godless is a book about a main character named Jason, and he is, a 15-year-old boy who feels really alone. And so he decides to create his own religion, and he gets some of his friends together, and they decide to worship the water tower that they call the 10-legged one. And throughout the book, it's just their journey of the different rules and things that they make, and their parents finding out and getting upset about it. And the kids really seem to relate to that quite a bit.
There were some commandments. Can you remember a couple of them?
Well, one was, thou shalt not eat asparagus. And the other one is, thou shalt attend Tuesday night mass on top of the water tower. So they would climb to the water tower on Tuesday nights.
Was there a part of the book that you most enjoyed?
I really liked the character development of all of the characters, because it really is a book based on, character development. It's not really high energy, but it's really character driven, and he does a great job at the typical high school students. He has a nerd, and then he has a jock, and then he has the pretty girl, and he did a really good job at putting those in there and making them really humorous for the kids to read.
Did he make a really good connection with our kids today?
Oh, he did a great job. The kids had questions. He did 3 different sessions for an hour and a half each, and the kids, they could have talked to him all day if we would have let them.
Heather, as the kids talked about ration, as you got ready for it, what was the most fun part for you preparing for this book?
Well, the character Bork is a very interesting character, and I just enjoyed picturing and visualizing him, and then when the kids got to that part in the book, what they visualized him looking like, and I actually had them draw pictures of him. And at one point in the book, he's a green-haired troll, so it was very interesting and fun to see their visualizations of the book.
Do you think that both of the books that we have talked about, Godless and Rash, are a little bit off the norm? Is that okay?
I would say they're definitely not the run-of-the-mill novels that you read in school. We need to really get to our kids and get books that are interesting to them to keep them motivated and involved in class. And so we usually do try to find books that relate to them more or are a little bit more interesting.
Sara, as you worked through Godless with the kids, was there a part of it that you could just feel like they truly enjoyed that book?
Yeah, there's this one part when they decide to climb the water tower, and the kids decide to get inside of it and go swimming for the night. And the kids just loved that part because he was so descriptive in how echoey the water tower was and what they did in there, and it was dark, so they all held hands so that they wouldn't lose each other, and the kids just really seemed to enjoy that whole part of the book.
So do you think Pete's visit will help make our kids readers?
Definitely. I think each time they can see and hear somebody that, has written about things that they've gone through in their life and come out stronger, I think it will help them to continue to search and find new authors that they like and maybe even try writing themselves.
Sara, thank you very much. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for taking the time to sit down with me.
No problem. Thanks for coming to talk to us.
Heather, I'd like to thank you for sitting down with me today. It was really a great deal. It was an outstanding idea that the two of you had. And thank you.
Thank you.